Raised rail, not an issue. You'll be in roughly the same area. Like the train line will be closed. There'll be buses running for that period. But that's inevitable either way. But if you go up, you won't have you can have the materials roughly underneath. You can have the building stuff roughly underneath. So you can really just use the sort of greenery that's to the sides of the tracks and just build it there. So you don't lose all the businesses along the side. It's kind of amazing to me that all these businesses have the signs wanting to stop it, yet they'll all be closed. Like they'll be closed the whole time, and no one will be able to use any of them. And the other issue is we have water, we have gas that runs under the train line. At least some of it will. Uh, the electricity and your telephone wires, some of that runs above, but we do put infrastructure under the ground too. So that's all cut too. So any backup there, you'll lose the backup that goes across the streets for the electricity and the telephone. But if you go with raised, you only lose that. You won't lose your gas and your water. So any ones that do cooking or just water, like you might not have drinking water on the bay side of that whole area. There's just so many arguments for having raised rail, particularly that stretch. It kind of seems amazing to me no one's making these points. So I guess I did. As far as aesthetically, it's like a tunnel or the ditch option. Both of them, I think, will be uglier. As far as seeing into people's backyards, I'm a tall guy. Most people are 6 foot. Can see over everyone's fences, so it's not really an issue. Where the train line is, it's like where a train station would be. You're just seeing where the shops are, so it's not an issue either. It's a non-issue. It's like the other only real advantage would be sound, less sound if you're potentially with a tunnel. A ditch, maybe, somewhat, but it can be mitigated. It's really not an issue. Beach Road would be worse, and the Nepean Highway would be worse. Yeah, they're the only positives for not going raised in this particular area, and I can't see how all those businesses don't just get seized in the tunnel scenario. And a ditch, there's likely you need to support it from the sides at least, so it's one way, even maybe where the shops are. Definitely, the dentist is gone in those houses in that case, but with raised, they might even get to stay. You can also, like with raised, you get the space underneath, so you can have car parks. So it's really good for the businesses and all that. You can have crossing wherever people can just get across, the two streets either side. It's really like, you know, there's no, it's that simple. It should be raised. Uh, You don't even need to apply, like, as far as the cost, it's cheaper for the government. They don't have to seize a bunch of houses too. That'll be expensive. You got to dig and build, which digging is not cheap. Like, you have to dig foundation stuff, but you have to do that in all cases anyway. And supporting the foundations from the side is much worse. That's what the tunnel problem is. Uh, also, you've got like you gain space, so you can have a bit of parkland there. You can't actually plant trees along the ditch anymore. That's like we've passed laws now where you can't do sort of what they've done in sort of Armidale, and that ditch is wider than the greenery that we've got. The sort of I don't know, train aisle. I don't know. It's like a traffic aisle sort of thing. You can definitely have a lot more crossing. You can have all you have to do really is go sort of just Patterson Lakes, and you can sort of see compared to like Moorabbin. Now you can say it might look better where the stations are in Moorabbin and sort of Ormond, sort of where they've gone up. But if you go down just a little way, you can't cross. And if someone gets in there by mistake, or they're doing works and it goes too long, like trains can't really stop very easily. As far as like the train running themselves, it's much better to go up too, because you'll be up mainly where the station is, in a sort of sense, just how you build these things. And it's mainly when the train starts, but when the train stops too. It's better as far as gravity. You want the least sort of work when you're starting off, so it'll speed up as it goes downhill. That's what gravity does. When you're leaving, and when you're stopping, you want it to slow down. So the natural gravity will help it slow down. If you're going from a ditch, you've got to put more power into the thing. But no one cares about that because that's cost for the government. That's not direct cost for you. But direct cost as far as business is concerned, you want it raised. It's just a dumb campaign that was started by the Herald Sun, and I'd say well, it's a lot wider where, like Auburn, where they built one, and Moorabbin sort of was already built. I'm not sure how wide they went with Bentley, but it was wider there too, just to begin with. Yeah, I'll lose out the most by having it raised. And they haven't thought about it enough, and someone needs to tell them. And if you're telling me the ditch will look as good as, you can go to Clayton too or Springvale, it looks much better. It's a lot less dangerous because people would just walk across there previously. I really think the sort of, I think it's Patterson Lakes station. I've used the train line a lot, and I've been to a lot of the shops in like Parkdale, and I live in Mordialloc now, and Mordialloc too, and Mentone, and it's just dumb, And I have done volunteer work, and when people were talking about talking about removing the level crossings, no one, was thinking, no one was saying they wanted it not raised. No one once, and I do not most of the area, and no one ever, not once was it mentioned by anyone. This is just a false campaign, really, that's tricked a lot of people, I think, and they haven't thought about it enough.